What's up, guys? This is Storm, and welcome to episode 49 of Storm Gaming News Week. There is a lot of news we have to cover, so I am either going to have to do a part 2 of this or just shift them over to episode 50. But with that being said, let's get on with the news. Alright, the first news we're going to go over is Larian CEO Swen Vinsky had made comments around the whole critics around High Guard. And you may not know, when High Guard released, it was set up by Jeff Keighley to be shown at the last showing for the Game of the Awards last year, which put a whole bunch of eyes on the game to see why would Jeff Keighley close the Game Awards with this game. Then a couple of days ago, Jeff Keighley and a couple of other people got invited to get hands-on experience with High Guard, and he basically painted as this could be a killer game and whatnot and stuff. But then I truly believe unjustifiable hate was coming at this game and stuff, because since it was the last shown at the Game Awards and people didn't really like that, it already painted a bad mark on it. And when Jeff Keighley said people go owe him apology, this, that, and the third, it just made it a whole lot worse when people got hands-on experience. Me and a couple of friends of mine got to play a couple of matches on it. The game could be fun, it just honestly was not for us, which is okay. Not all games is for everybody. I bet there are people who do like High Guard. It just, for us, it just wasn't the game. But let me go back to the CEO. His first comment he made about the critics basically hating on High Guard. He said, "Sometimes I think it would be a good idea for critics to be scored, Metacritic style, based on how others evaluate their criticism. I like to imagine it would encourage a bit more restraint. The harsh words to deal real damage. You shouldn't have grow callous on your soul just because you want to publish something." And I see where it's coming from, because there are critics that would unjustified criticize a game for unknown reason and stuff, but there are justified criticisms for a game. Could the CEO word it differently? He definitely could have, which is kind of funny, because he, after this comment came out a couple of days later, he basically put out a new statement on his comment, and this is what he had to say. He said his tweet about game critics were poorly written and that he sees great value in criticism as long as not hurtful. So he kind of stepped back on what he said a little bit and stuff. There is a perfect place to give stuff criticism as long as it's not too hurtful, which, depending on how you take it, could make sense. But what do you guys think? You think he should stand 10 toes on what he said about the criticism and stuff? Honestly, yeah, there could be criticism that could be unjustified hate towards High Guard and stuff, and not every game is for everybody. It just, he kind of came at this a little bit too strong, in my opinion. He was acting like it was his one of his game getting criticized, which is not a bad thing. He's standing up for a fellow developer, which is all cool and stuff. So hopefully High Guard can prove people wrong. They are dropping new content very soon and stuff, so they already have a roadmap in mind how they want to do High Guard. It just gonna be wait and see if they were able to keep that momentum going forward. We got a couple of new info regarding Crimson Desert and interview due to with their PR. And some of the stuff he said was that the campaign that they shown up is only a small percentage of the game total content. They have not ruled out expanding the story through DLC. So they expect Crimson Desert to be a long lasting project for them, which is all very nice and stuff. Because it's kind of funny, like I I don't know if I missed it or not, but I haven't really seen anything story related yet. Yeah, they gave us some details that they want you to reclaim your land as a main and stuff. But is that the overall story of them retaking their land? We just don't know. They're really keeping it close to their chest. And they also said something along the way regards to the performance of the game because even though seeing all these video, people are still kind of hesitant. Like this game, like they're like they can't believe this is a game. Like people still believe they don't believe this is a game. If that makes sense. So one of the said they said for the performance of the game, they said we're not frame capping, so there is no hard cap. We're doing frame limiting at 60 or something like that. If your system can support it, cool, go ahead, generate those frames. I do think people will be pleasantly surprised about the FPS that the game is running on because of our priority engine. So they are focusing a cap at 60, but if you have something that could support more frames going past 60, they said go for it, generate those frames. And there was one interview that he did, I believe it was with Dustin Legary, and he didn't say it alright, but he almost made it slip when it was asked like, will there be like optimization for the PS5 Pro? And some people believe he almost let it slip of the PSSR 2.0, which is supposed to be the big update for the PS5 Pro that will help it generate a more high resolution frames and also be able to keep the resolution and stuff. Like for example, when it came to Resident Evil 9, they said the PS5 Pro you'll be able to play at 120 frames, but it could drop to 90, 4K 60 and stuff. So I doubt that's the result of the PSSR 2.0 and stuff, but a lot of people believe we're supposed to get it sometime early this year. So games that would definitely benefit are games that are currently being worked on, like not games that are out right now, like Suros, Marvel Wolverine, possibly GTA 6, Phantom Blade Zero. If Sony already done it, they probably could have gave it for Resident Evil Requiem and stuff. So it's a lot of good stuff. I can't wait to see how Crimson Desert will perform when it eventually comes out on March 19th. Skyrim lead designer says Starfield will be talked about like the second coming if it was made by a new studio. But Bethesda in a bad position of having expectation being so high that cannot be met. Alright, he says this because when it comes to games released by Bethesda, they are yelled to the high heavens of being the second coming. We saw this when it came to Fallout 76 when they were saying like it'd be 16 times the detail or 4 times bigger than Fallout 4 and stuff. And also with Skyrim, 10,000 planets for you to visit and all of that stuff. They set these very high bars for their game releases, which they don't deliver. Which is like, it almost sounds like they're setting up their game to fail, but at the same time, they're not. Like, I can understand a developer having high regards for their project and stuff, but we also need to be realistic on how games are made and stuff, because you could set your game up to be this, that, and a third, and if it doesn't deliver, people will tear it down, especially how much you hyped it up for what it could be when it turned out is not. Like, it's the same situation that going on with Crimson Desert right now, because people see all this crazy stuff you could do in the game, but the thing is, some people find it hard to believe you could do all this stuff in the game, especially at a stable frame rate and resolution. And not too long ago, somebody from them said, like, "Oh, you don't like the particle effects in Crimson Desert? You could turn it off." Which some people are actually really happy, because, like, I could have said having all that particle effects in your face and stuff, it could like mess up your line of sight when you're trying to do some stuff. So it's cool they added an option that you could turn it off. But still, they have all this stuff that Bethesda want their game to achieve, and it doesn't. And it just really sets a high, really bad, because everybody was saying all this stuff about Starfield stuff, and it did what it can, but it didn't deliver what people expected it would gonna do. And it's most likely gonna be the same situation when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, or when it eventually does come out. Just never speak in absolute when it comes to your game. This is the same situation with Bungie and a whole bunch of other developers in the past who done the exact same thing. Just keep your game in a realistic fashion, and people will like what you achieve and stuff. Matter of fact, have people expectations be so low about your game, then when your game finally comes out, blow their minds with it. Because it's the same thing with Bluebird Team when they did the Silent Hill 2 remake. People disregard them as being a pretty bad developers because of their other projects that they did before the Silent Hill 2 remake, and they prove everybody wrong when it dropped. So, not saying Bethesda can do it, I'm saying they could if they really wanted to. A picture was taken of the Prince of Persia Censored Remake Collector's Edition that was going to come with the dagger. And it was said that this was a press kit, seemingly included a collectible dagger, which pretty much cemented how close this game was going to release before it was unfortunately canceled. Which really sucks, because in my opinion, Ubisoft spent a whole lot of money, wasted a whole lot of money canceling the game, then probably not really getting that much of a sale and stuff. Like, people are right now even begging for Ubisoft to release this game so they could play it and stuff. Like, it's kind of crazy. And that collector's edition dagger looked really cool. Like, I never played a Prince of Persia game, honestly, and stuff. And if Censored was going to be the game I was going to get introduced into the Prince of Persia franchise, I would have gotten that collector's edition just for that dagger alone, because that shit looks sweet. But it's unfortunate stuff. A lot of Ubisoft developers came out speaking about their whole situation with the whole cancellation. Some people even wanted like the CEO to be want him to be removed because they just don't trust him, which is a justifiable saying, because like, why would you want to trust somebody that basically you don't have confidence that you will have that you won't be able to keep your job long? And it's it's pretty suck for them, because like, they were so happy to try to get this game out and stuff, and they literally got shit on. Like, it's really sad. Like, we seen game cancellations, this, that, and the third, and stuff. But me personally, I never see anything like this. In my opinion, I never seen anything this bad. I could be wrong about. I could be wrong. There probably was some things worse compared to this, but this right here, canceling a game when it was literally about to come out and stuff, is wild. And the fact you're keeping a game and you said that it's still being worked on, that have been in development for 17 plus years, is lunacy. But I'm not going to get into that. I already talked about how I feel about Ubisoft. They need to be shit on until they get their shit together. Dispatch is facing some very tough troubles. The developer behind Dispatch has said they are legally unable to explain why is it unable to launch an uncensored version of its game in Pacific regions, as CD Projekt Red did with Cyberpunk 2077. This news comes after when it was announced that Dispatch will be coming to the Switch. And people have found out that the game is censored in that version. Is censored for the Switch. It doesn't matter what region you're in. North America, Japan, the UK, it doesn't matter. It's censored. And which caused people on the Switch to be very upset about it, because on the PC and the PS5 version of Dispatch, you could toggle a black bar on and off when it comes to showing like nudity and stuff. Like, when you don't have the black bar on the nudity aspect of the game, there's like it's blurry and stuff. And when you want to cover the blur, they put a black bar, which is which they have it in America, but I believe in the Japanese version of Dispatch is still censored due to the rating board, how Japan works and stuff like that. But on the Switch one, you don't get that choice. You're censored through the whole entire game, which have people upset and not believing the developers of Dispatch of this being the case. And honestly, I do feel bad for the Switch players, because they're kind of getting the same game, but they can't get access to what the PC and the PS5 is able to get and stuff. And like, it could be, I don't know if the reason they gave was because of the rating board and stuff like that, but the fact that they said they're legally unable to say why, it's like, is it really, or are you just saying that just to say that? Like, of course, I don't have no horse in this race and stuff. So if people who have a Switch wants to play the game, and so they either need to play on the PC or the PS5. Like, it is what it is. Like, it sucks, but what can you do about it? Or you could probably just not get the game and just watch it on YouTube and stuff. Thursday, Nintendo showed off a partnership showcase that showed games that will be coming to the Switch and the Switch 2 platform. These are not the exact order, but the games that they showed off was Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, which, funny enough, that was the closer for the show, which had a lot of people, which had a lot of Nintendo fans upset that they decided to close out on this. They was mostly looking forward to Dusk I believe it's called Dustblood, which From Software making an exclusive Souls game for the Switch 2 and stuff. So people have said that did not make no type of appearance. They had Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is coming to the Switch 2. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Orbitals. Resident Evil Requiem. Resident Evil Biohazard. And Resident Evil Village. Both Gold Edition. Pragmata. Hollow Knight, the Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection. Valheim, Tokyo Scramble, Kickoff, Elliot the Millennium Tales, 2K20, WWE 2K25, Cool Borders, Turok Origins, Dreamlight Valley, Arcade Archives 2, Rave Racer, Console Archives, Ninja Gaiden, and the Dark Sword of Chaos. Reanimal, Star Trek Voyager, Across the Unknown, Ghost Simulator 3, PGA 2K25, Tales of Arise Beyond and Beyond of Dawn Edition, Grand Blue Fantasy Relay, Endless Ragnarok, Shadow Tactics, Blade of the Shogun, Digimon Storytime Stranger, Koto Zanuru, Super Bomberman Collection, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, Another Eden Begins, Switch 2 Edition, Scott Pilgrim EX, Cul-de-sac Begins, Paranorma Sight The Mermaid's Curse, Arcade Archives, Raid Racer, Captain Tsubasa 2 World Fighters. So they had, the show was probably like 30 to 45 minutes, I believe. And some fans were happy to see the games like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, mostly Monster Hunter 3, and Resident Evil Requiem. But a large majority of them say like it was kind of dull showcase and stuff. But of course, some people argue, why would you have a high expectation for a third-party showcase when it comes for Nintendo and stuff? Because thanks to the Switch 2, it showed third-party publishers are able to put their game on a more stronger Switch compared to the first Switch one. So I guess I can understand why people have like a high, like a pretty decent high expectations when it comes to this showcase, because they could show games that some fans are hoping that will come to the Switch. So I can understand that. And of course I can understand why people like the games at the show and some that are not. So give or take how you feel about the Switch Direct stuff, they're pretty much just waiting for that first party Nintendo Switch Direct that would show off games that will be coming exclusive for the Switch and stuff. But what do you guys think? Did any of the games that the Switch 2, not the Switch 2, that Nintendo show off at their third party showcase that pique your interest? Let me know in the comments below. We're going to end off this video with the long-awaited official reveal of Guerrilla Games' Horizon multiplayer game. And honestly, this came out of nowhere on a Thursday. This just randomly dropped. But with that being said, it's basically a mixed feeling and stuff, because some people expected it was going to be like running on the Decima engine like how Horizon 1 and 2 is, and make that be a multiplayer. But they went with this kind of art style of it and stuff, which I can understand why they went in this way, because maybe the Decima engine would not be able to handle a multiplayer type of aspect and stuff, which I can understandable and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, the game looks really nice and colorful and stuff. I just like with everybody else, I was a little bit surprised because this just randomly just dropped and stuff. But we got a couple of info on it. Basically, it's called Horizon Hunters Gathering. It's 3-player co-op with a roguelike runs. Has a narrative story that is canon to the Horizon world, and you can play it solo or with friends. And so, judging by the looks of it, we don't know much about the story. This could potentially take place between 2 and the future of 3 whenever that comes out. I could see this being between 2 and 3. Cause Aloy probably gathering an army for the pending. You play Horizon Forbidden West and you saw the ending of what supposedly is coming. I could see Aloy is trying to gather an army to fight against the new threat that is set to be coming. But anyway, it's a new dynamic art style focused on getting the best hunters in the land to take on the beast. Combat evolves off of what Horizon had and requires working with teammates to take down enemies. Each hunter can take on a different class system like support, tank, technician, etc. And so basically, you don't create a character, you get a select picks of hunters and stuff. Which some people would prefer they could create their own character. But honestly, having a set character to pick from, it's not that bad, honestly. It's not really that bad. Each encounter with enemies rewards power-ups, perk, weapons, stats upgrade that allow you to build yourself up before the final boss encounter. 2 mission types will be available during playtesting. Take that in mind. Machine Incursion, high intensity mission where waves of machines pour out from underground gateways led by a formidable boss. Cauldron Descent, a longer multi-stage trial in which every changing room push hunters to their limits, from brutal machine encounters to hidden doors that promise power and reward for teams prepared to open them. 4 biomes will be available at launch. 6 characters to choose from at launch, launching on PS5 and PC via Steam. Social channels up now to keep up to date. Playtesting begins later this month. Alright, so a lot of cool stuff to know about. This game is most likely still a long way from coming out. There are playtesting it. And honestly, I'm low-key surprised this came out because this was not on any forecast that it was going to be shown and stuff. Which some people believe the reason why they kind of expected this should have been shown off at a state of play that is rumored to come out next week. But I think people are saying I guess Sony wasn't confident in this game, or they just wanted to throw the game out there and stuff, because people, when it comes to state of play, people get really critical of the games being shown. So I guess they didn't want, well, I could see it, they don't want crazy backlash for the games to be shown if this made an appearance at the state of play. So honestly, it's alright. It's the game definitely looks cool. I'm hoping I do get access to the playtesting so I could give it a try and stuff. Like, what I seen some people compare this as, they kind of compare it to like a Monster Hunter Elden Ring type of thing, which honestly I could somewhat see Monster Hunter. Don't know about Elden Ring, but I could definitely see the Monster Hunter aspect in it. And to be honest, this game could be truly fun, especially mixing all the different gameplay playstyles from the Horizon series, so with this guy with the bow and stuff. Like, I definitely will check it out to see if this game worth buying stuff. And one thing I don't really get is people are people are never happy with whatever gets shown and stuff. People like when people say like when they say they get tired of seeing PlayStation with these realistic graphics and whatnot and stuff. Then they do something like this and people still complain about it. Like, come on now. We probably won't get Horizon 3 for a while now. Like, especially after the passing of the actor Lance Ritter who play as Silas and stuff. Of course, they will need to. Unless he did recording before his passing and stuff, they would have to find a whole new actor to play as him. Most likely redesign the character of Silas to fit the new actor that will replace him and stuff. So, and also writing out the story of Horizon 3, like if they will continue the story or end it off at number 3. Like, people are just never happy. And I could see them trying to get a different audience because Horizon as a franchise is over 40 million with 2 games, with and also with the Lego and the VR game. There's like 40. There are 40 million and stuff. So the fact they're trying to branch out the Horizon franchise even more to get like a whole other audience is where I can see they're probably trying to get the Japanese audience because this looks like a games as a service, which could be a good one and stuff. Like it has like good decent content in it, and most likely they would keep adding more. So I'm not gonna write off this game until I give it a chance myself. And if it turns out to be bad, I'll let you guys know. But if I like it, I would definitely let you know. Okay, this next bit of news was for real hilarious when I saw it came out. I honestly didn't believe it was true until I saw Jeff Keighley tweet about it. But anyway, the news is that Overwatch 2 is no more. Blizzard said Overwatch 2 is being renamed back to Overwatch 1, starting with the next season on February 10th. I never saw a game literally cancel the sequel and going back reverting to the first game. That is freaking hilarious. That's like Bungie canceling Destiny 2, then reverting back to Destiny 1 and just pretend like the second one didn't exist. So they're bringing in 5 new characters, so but the thing in this whole thing with the new characters that they're bringing into the game, some people are speculating that they're actually copying Marvel rival characters. And there is a new character that kind of resembles, like, give off the feeling like this is like their version of Emma Frost. There's a character that looks like Jean Grey Phoenix. They have like a little cat-like hero, which some people like. So they're trying to do their own Justice Shark, but they're using a cat. It's freaking crazy. It was actually trending on Twitter when it came out. But this is hilarious to me because Overwatch 2 was horrible when it first launched. Like, people couldn't get into the game. It was literally Overwatch 1.0 all over again. Like, it was basically all the same thing from Overwatch 1, just added new characters and stuff. But the overall aspect was the same. They removed the whole campaign story mode. But they introduced new characters and stuff. So some people say this is a good thing because they actually saying if it wasn't for Marvel rivals, but Blizzard when basically lock in tried to fix Overwatch. And that possibly could be the case and stuff, but we'll see how the players will take in Overwatch when the new season drops on February 10th. But it was just real funny to me that they're reverting back to Overwatch 1. Like, so, but it kind of makes me wonder, will the stuff from Overwatch 2, well, the stuff from Overwatch 2 should be able, still be able to work if they're rebranding the name to Overwatch 1. It's just the thing is, if people who bought the physical copy of Overwatch 1, will those, will those, will that still be usable? That is the definitive question right now. But we'll see what happens. Okay, we're gonna close off this video with the financial report from PlayStation. The CFO Lin Tao from PlayStation has revealed that the PS5 units sold 8 million for 2025, with the lifetime making the lifetime PS5 units hit 92.2 million. So they were able to surpass their 90 million goal that they was hoping for their financial results for Q3, and more than likely the PS5 will most likely hit 100 million by the end of this year, with the help of GTA 6, Marvel Wolverine, possibly Soros, and a couple other games they probably got working on. Their full game software units sold 97.2 million, first party software units with 13.2, 76% for digital download, and the monthly active users was 132 million, which is all nice. Apparently, it was also shown that Starfield is coming to the PS5 on April 7th of 2026. Don't know if that's gonna be true and stuff, but we'll see. Most likely, this was supposed to get revealed at the rumor state of play, but we'll see if it turns out to be true. The CFO also said that Ghost of Yotai sold better than Ghost of Tsushima in the same time period and has significantly contributed to the earning results. Ghost of Yotai was a tentpole title we released in October, exceed the sales of previous title in the same period of time, and significantly contribute to the financial results of the quarter, which is nice. And grifters and people who try to say this game failed, y'all could suck a big one. This game was fire, and I will fight anybody that said otherwise. You don't like the game, you don't like the game, but if you purposely try to find reasons to hate the game, I don't like you. But anyway, it's basically when Ghost of Yotai first came out in the first, I believe it was like in the first month or week, it sold 3.3 million, and Ghost of Tsushima was at 5 million and hit 5 million in 4 months, 3 or 4 months, I think it was. So the fact that Ghost of Yotai outdid Ghost of Tsushima in the same time frame, which pretty much says Ghost of Yotai passed 5 million, which is really nice. Like, some people prefer the character Asu over Jin, and of course people will say it's the typical revenge story stuff, but it was a lot more to it than that. Because you could argue, say, Jin's story was also a revenge story for the people that died on his island and stuff. And overall, Ghost of Yotai was definitely a really good story. I can't wait for the update that give us the multiplayer that Ghost of Tsushima have and stuff. I can't wait to see how that turns out. She also said for their next fiscal year, we plan to release new titles such as Soros and Marvel Wolverine. We intend to enhance our effort to increase the revenue to our studio business. So for their next fiscal year results, Marvel Wolverine and Soros will be included in that. So we'll see how that turns out. Some people was worried about the whole prices of the parts will increase the PS5. Will make the PS5 console go up in price just like every other device. But she came out and said, as for secure, PlayStation Plus significantly contributed to the results of the quarter as the shift to higher tiers to the service continued. She further along said, as for securing a supply of memory, we are already in position to secure the minimum quantity necessary to manage the year-end selling season of the next fiscal year. So pretty much, PlayStation already took into the account of securing parts for their PS5 for this year financial reports when it drops. So there shouldn't be a price increase for the PS5 as of for this year. Of course, we gotta wait and see how that turns out. But it shows PlayStation have taken the necessary steps to avoid that, which is good for the consumer and people who are still trying to get a PS5 and stuff. Because I believe I said last week video that people saw a message from PlayStation trying to kind of push people to upgrade from the PS4 to the PS5 and stuff. And of course, I always see those type of people that will always say, "Oh, I need a game that would." Basically, people will always say like, "Oh, I'm definitely gonna buy a PS5 for this one game and stuff." Then complain that PS5 have no other game. Like, not everybody needs to like the same game, but the PS5, the Xbox, they all have games. Like, how people talk, they still talk like PlayStation is still releasing games on the PS4. Like, they have been releasing games that are not coming to the PS4 anymore. Like, the last one you could honestly say was that Horizon Lego game. But other than that, that was the last one. Like, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is not on the PS4. Wolverine is not going to be on the PS4. Soros is not going to be on the PS4. Marvel Token Fighting Soul won't be on the PS4. There's games that are not coming for the PS4. Like, you could say like third party developers are still making games for the PS4, and that is true. But when it comes to PlayStation themselves, they're hardly making games for the PS4. Even that guerrilla multiplayer game, Hunter's Gathering, that's not on the PS4. That's only on the PS5 and PC. So there are games only exclusive on the PS5. It just, for some reason, people just don't want to upgrade. Which I couldn't say. It could be a money thing, which is totally understandable and stuff. But it's like, it's kind of crazy that they're honestly complaining about not wanting to upgrade to the PS5. If it's a money thing, just say it's a money thing. Don't say there's no game for you to play. There are games. Even the games that you play right now, you could play it better on the PS5. They're not asking you to get a PS5 Pro. They just get the standard PS5 and you could play the games. But I digress. That's the end of the video. I know I probably said this bit of info I'm adding right now is a last minute. So if you heard me earlier in the video said I'm going to call it here. And so this is officially the end of the video. And there's more news to cover for next week's episode, which I'm going to add. So with that being said, hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Have an amazing day. Stay warm. And I'll catch you guys in episode 50. Peace out.